The big questions. Those of you who've been watching these videos for a while now will realize that I don't consider myself to be a religious person. But it is difficult not to acknowledge the hold that religion has upon the human psyche. Is this a good thing? Well, I happen not to think so. Is this something vestigial from our prehistoric past that was once a key to our survival in the world? Perhaps, I'm not sure. Is it something that will help us survive in the future, or will it rather be the death of us? I'm not sure. I do believe that religion taps into themes and symbols that are deeply rooted in our psyche. How are we to understand our place in this world? What does it mean that one day I will no longer be? How am I to make decisions in the face of so much information, or perhaps so little information? I won't presume to claim that human beings are the only creatures on this planet or in the universe who have the dilemma of trying to understand their place in the world. But for some reason, for us, living doesn't come naturally. By that I mean that our instincts, as powerful as they remain and deny them though we might, are not the only things that guide our behaviour. We have the capacity, although not always the will or the strength, to transcend our instincts. This is both a strength and a curse. It gives us something which we often call freedom, so that somehow our actions don't appear to be predetermined. There's a something, a me, that seems to intervene between the past and the future, so that the present and future are not simply determined by the configuration of the past. I'm aware, as I've discussed before, that this is an area of controversial and complex philosophical debate. Nevertheless, it's what seems to be the case, and we certainly live as though it were true. But this capacity, this freedom, is also terrifying because, as the existentialists realized, freedom, the capacity to choose, is like stepping into an abyss. No wonder we sometimes seek fixed points, religions, dictators, which can show us the way, prevent us from having to take these trembling steps. These things, we hope, can set us free from freedom. And then there's our awareness of death, which I've also discussed before. Again, I wouldn't presume to claim that this is unique to our species. But our consciousness, our sense of self, our perception that we are shapers of the world and not simply shaped by it is very powerful. We find it difficult to conceive that this light that burns within us could ever be extinguished. And it is literally, and I use the term literally, impossible to conceive our non-being. Understandably, we rail against this, and yet death is potentially the very thing that gives meaning to our lives, the full stop that gives meaning to the sentence. However, most of us probably feel that we're not even given a chance to complete our story, but then maybe we're only a chapter in the story after all, or a sentence in the chapter. Religion is about the big questions, questions like these. Are the answers always helpful? Probably not. Can we actually hope to find some final answers? Again, probably not. Should we continue to ask the questions, though? Most definitely, yes.